we have gathered in the streets without having any discriminatory or racist attitudes towards one another. We are here to remind of our quest for justice. We are the children and the lilies of a country who wants to be clean at all times. And justice that is not done will only spread the crimes and criminals. We shall not forget, we shall not get tired, and we will keep seeking justice. We do want to know, we do want to see. We will not accept any murders. We will insist on silencing the guns, and we will insist on resolving our problems through dialogue. We do know the murderers. We do know the instigators, and we would need to expose them. We still need to cover a lot of ground for restoring justice. We are not in despair. There are those who are not keeping silent. They are here, so we're not going anywhere, and we do not give up. Hope is right here. This land is ours, this country is ours. We would like to world in a society that we would not sacrifice anyone, no one would harm anyone, and we will only respect the trees, water, parks, forests. We would like to respect the rights of each being. We would like to live in this kind of society with multicolors. This murder trial is not over yet. Our humanity is not dead, so we shall continue. Let us all be Hrant Dink today. Let us pursue peace, democracy, dialogue, coexistence. We have done this before, we can do it again. You are in the breeze of Istanbul and in the waters of the Euphrates. You are in the clouds that crown Mount Ararat. You are in the tears shed by a baby girl in the Middle East, in the breath of the indigenous South American, and in the sweat of a farmer in Africa. You are there. Wherever the mind can reason, the eye can see, the heart can feel. You are here, forever with us, Ahparik.
Hrant Dink was born in Malatya, Turkey in 1954. He moved to Istanbul with his family at the age of 5. There, he and his 2 siblings attended the İncirdibi Elementary School and stayed at the school's camp in Tuzla during the summers. It was at the school that he met his future wife Raquel of the Silopi Armenian Varto tribe. In the 1980s, Hrant Dink and his wife took over the management of the Tuzla Children's Camp, which had served as a second home for them and many other Armenian children. The camp was later seized by the state, part of a broader campaign of extrajudicial expropriation of the property of minority foundations. During this period, Hrant Dink was detained 3 times. In the 1990s, when the war in Turkey's southeast was at its most intense, Armenians were frequently vilified and subjected to racist abuse, despite having no connection to the events. In an effort to combat this widespread hate, a few intellectuals of the Armenian community founded the newspaper Agos in 1996, with Hrant Dink serving as editor-in-chief. This first bilingual newspaper, to be published in both Turkish and Armenian, Agos aimed to strengthen the bonds among the diverse elements of the Armenian community, whose ties to its mother tongue had grown weak, and to build bridges between the Armenian community and public at large in Turkey by bringing together the concerns and major events, news items affecting both. Over the years, Dink wrote and spoke on a wide range of issues, including democratization, relations with the EU, relations with Armenia, cultural heritage, problems in education, and coming to terms with the past. One of the central focuses of his speeches was democratization in Turkey and the creation of a just and equal society.
Ve Ermeni sorunu Türkiye Cumhuriyeti yurttaşlığını, yurtseverliğini ve Türkiye'nin kimliğini hele hiç kimseye öyle bedavadan terk etme. Sen önce kendi kafanda vur. Ben kimim, ben neyim? Türkiye'de yaşayan bir Ermeni nedir? Önce onu bul. Yeri geldiğinde Türk'üm dedirteceksin bana, yeri geldiğinde Ermeni dönü diyeceksin bana. Yok öyle yapma. Ben Türkiye'liyim ve Türkiye Ermenisi.
2004'te Ağustos'ta
When Agos
Atatürk'ün
published an
manevi
article
kızı
in
Sabiha
2004
Gökçen'in
suggesting that
Ermeni
one
kökenli olduğuna
of
dair
Turkey's
haberin
national heroes,
yayınlanmasının
Sabiha Gökçen,
ardından
the adopted
Hrant
daughter
Dink
of Turkey's
3 yıl
founding father
boyunca
and the
ordu,
country's first
siyaset,
female
medya,
fighter pilot,
yargı ve
had
milliyetçi
Armenian
grupların
roots,
katıldığı
Hrant Dink became the
organize ve
target of an
sistemli bir
organized and
kampanya ile
systematic
hedef haline
campaign
getirildi.
on the part of the army, politicians, the media, the judiciary, and national groups. He was openly threatened. Legal cases followed one after the next, as did convictions.
Özellikle devletin derinliğinin bana haddime bildirme operasyonu var şu anda benim karşımda. Çünkü bana bu hikayeleri söyledi. Genelkurmay yayınladığı bildiride bu haberi yayınlayan kişi ülkenin birliğine ve bütünlüğüne nifak sokmak. Ertesi gün münasip bir şekilde bir yerlere götürüldüm ve bana sana haddini bildireceğiz dendi. Ve o gün bugündür de ben 301'de devam ediyorum, haddim bildirilmeye çalışıyorum.
19.
In the middle of the day, on 19th of January 2007, Hrant Dink was shot twice from behind and assassinated as he entered the Agos building.
Menfur bir suikasta kurban gitmiştir.
Gazetesinin önünde yaşamını yitirdi.
Şu anda yaklaşık 1500-2000 kişilik bir kalabalık olduğunu tahmin ediyorum.
Most Turks are shot.
Emniyet ve jandarma için
There is conclusive evidence that the police, gendarmerie, and other groups knew of the plot to murder Hrant Dink beforehand. The legal proceedings related to the case began in 2007 and are still underway. Yet to date, there has been no serious investigation or prosecution of those who made Dink a target, threatened him, or turned a blind eye to what was happening. The people responsible for this murder still have not been identified or punished for their crimes.
17 veya 27 olsun. Katil kim olursa olsun. Bir zamanlar bebek olduklarını biliyorum. Bir bebekten bir katil yaratan karanlığı sorgulamadan hiçbir şey yapılamaz kardeşlerim.
You are in the breeze of Istanbul, and in the waters of the Euphrates. You are in the clouds that crown Mount Ararat. You are in the tears shed by a baby girl in the Middle East, in the breath of the indigenous South American, and in the sweat of a farmer in Africa. You are there, wherever the mind can reason, the eye can see, the heart can feel. You are here forever with us, Ahparik.
Sivas'ın bir gün hangi kazısından olmuyorum. Yaşlı bir bey beni telefonla
This old
aradı.
guy
Dedi ki,
once
oğul
called me
dedi,
up and said,
seni aradık,
son,
seni
we
bulduk.
looked for
Burada bir
you,
tane yaşlı bir
and
kadın
there's
var.
this
Herhal
old lady
sizden
here,
gördük
and
dedi.
she's
Allah'ın rahmetine
from your
kavuştu.
community. She just passed away, and if you find anyone from her family, please bring us in touch, or we will just bury her with a Muslim service. And I said, okay, I'll look into it. And this woman was called Beatrice, and she had traveled from France, and she was 70. And I looked around, and within 10 minutes, I had found a close relative because we knew each other because we are so few. And I went to the family store and asked, do you know this person, this middle-aged woman? There turned to me and said, she's my mother. Her mother, she told me, lives in France and comes to Turkey 3 or 4 times a year. But after a very short time in Istanbul, she prefers to go directly to the village she left many years earlier. I told her daughter the sad news, and she immediately traveled to the village. The next day she phoned me up. She had found her mother, but she suddenly began to cry. I asked her whether she would bring the body to Istanbul. And she said, I want to, but there's this old guy here. And she started crying, and I got upset. I said, why is he making you cry? I wanted to talk to him. And I asked him why he made her cry. And he said, the water has found its crack, I told her, he said. And I was heartbroken at that moment. I lost and found myself in the saying produced by Anatolian people. Indeed, the water had found its crack. Yes. We Armenians do desire this territory because our root is here. And let me reiterate what I wrote at the time. The president of the time, Demirel, had said at the time that they wouldn't give even 3 pebble stones to Armenians. And I had written about the story of this woman, and I said, yes, we Armenians do desire this territory because our roots are here, but do not worry. We desire not to take this territory away, but to come and be buried under it. Thank you.
Dear friends, we have been here for the last 14 years. We are here today amid a pandemic, along with the sufferings and uncertainties it caused. I do know very well that so many hearts are beating with us today. This place has become a venue for remembering and reminding the things they want to make us forget. It has served as a place where we learned how to be sisters and brothers in suffering, to share the sorrow, to face the truth, and to make others confronted as well. It has served as a place where people seeking and striving for justice and the truth come together. It has offered a space for speaking out about the killings committed or condoned by the state, as well as the murder trials left unresolved ruthlessly. As a granddaughter of a leftover of the sword, over the last century, I have seen how our plight has been denied and refuted. As if this was not enough, they added more insult to injury by naming it the so-called genocide. Has it ever occurred to you that you may be hurting or offending someone? Your endless hostility towards Armenians, your insults, humiliation, grudge, and rage have literally consumed us. Don't you ever get tired of it? What a pity. Your silence and brazenness are so shameful. May God help us all. According to the word of God, whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. Not letting it happen, never again, entails responsibility, awareness, justice, and a true expression of remorse. It takes confession, apology, and repentance. Dear friends, there has been plenty of suffering and pain. Way too many massacres, murders, griefs, and trials. So much so that we feel embarrassed to talk about our own sorrow. Regrettably, we have a state that has never-ending problems with its citizens. Yet, who has ever gained, and what, by means of killing, hostility, and war, other than causing more death, grief, suffering, famine, and barrenness? While we can live in peace, love, benevolence, abundance, and joy, why to nurture malevolence, enmity, persecution, and wars? These also amount to hostility towards God. Is this how clean hands look like? Which soap can cleanse this virus? Can human dignity be possibly preserved in this way? Do states' governments become dignified like this? My husband's murder trial has been going on for 14 years. They could not resolve the murder in the past 14 years. They failed to do so because it's not their intention to solve it. The only thing they strive for is to close the case. They spare no efforts to find a way. But it has spread all over the place. They are not able to wrap it up. How else one can explain the failure to carry out an effective investigation for all these years? How else one can explain the failure to question, not even once, those who issued threats and finger-pointed my husband as a target? Very soon, they will once again issue a verdict to close it up. If you are so sure that this murder trial is over, then why do you dismiss the request filed by our lawyers? And why on earth you do not investigate those who threatened and targeted and instigated his assassination? Throughout these 14 years, so many alliances have been formed and collapsed, and our murder trial proceedings kept changing color with each coming alliance. So one cannot help but wonder, whom, in which alliance, will be touched by the murder trial this time? Let me put it bluntly. Claiming that Hrant was killed by FETÖ is synonymous to saying it was not me, it was my hand. Alleging that Hrant was murdered by Ergenekon is tantamount to saying it was not me, it was my feet. All these years you have come all the way up to here, blatantly, walking on your feet. And then you held the gun with your two hands, pulling the trigger, and you killed my chutak. Who are you after all, if you're not some of your feet, hands, and tongue? For the past 14 years, We have seen a very bizarre image of a state that tries to prove its due performance while backing all these denialists and suspects. It almost resembles a state that strives to certify its idiocy in order to prove that it's not the assassin. Just let it go. No matter which wall, which building will come down, people of this country will build back better anyway. There are 7 things God detests. Sadly, we are full of pride and lies. Homicides, deceivers, evildoers are mushrooming. Yet, regrettably, they are fed and fostered by discriminatory mindsets, disputes, enmity, and falsehood. It would be fair if we grieve for our entire country, for we are full of those beyond measure. Woe to those who draw sin along with cords of deceit and wickedness as with card ropes. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Thank you.
You are in the breeze of Istanbul and in the waters of the Euphrates. You are in the clouds that crown Mount Ararat. You are in the tears shed by a baby girl in the Middle East, in the breath of the indigenous South American, and in the sweat of a farmer in Africa. You are there wherever the mind can reason, the eye can see, the heart can feel. You are here forever with us, Ahbarik.
Dear friends, beautiful people, my sisters and brothers, we are together once again for our deepest wound that we could never come to terms with. We could never get used to over the years, and we will not do so. We are here for our dearest friend, our true brother, our Hrant. This year, the pandemic only allows us to gather in this format. We cannot look at each other in the eye, but we can still hear one another's heartbeats. You, the people who gather in front of Agos each and every year, as well as those who across the globe keep their heart beating with us. We do not merely commemorate a precious one we lost. We also are in search for his values. We seek justice. We quest for peace that slips through our fingers. We lost our laughter, our joy, our zest for life. We have gathered yet again, searching. We are full of grief. our mourning does not come to an end. It does not end for the body of our loved one is still out there laying on the ground. All of us came together, shoulder to shoulder, yet we could not lift him up from the ground. For this is so heavy, such a heavy toll, a heavy legacy. That's why we're still in search. I do know very well that we will not stop without finding, and I know that we have come very close. We will bear our funeral. We will rise him up from where he fell, not to bury him under the earth, but to sow his seeds as a plane tree of friendship. Dearest friends of Hrant, my sisters and brothers, perhaps we have been seeking justice for so long, and our spring came rather late. The promises we made to Hrant are still not fulfilled. However, the blame for this delay belongs neither to the society nor to the oppressed or others. The biggest failure lies with the leaders of our society. Although all probabilities lay bare right before our eyes, they did not dare to reach out for them. It's all about reaching out and grabbing the truth. But we shall not despair, just as our dear Hrant did. Without giving in to vengeance, we will embrace hope with wisdom, patience, love, and particularly with resistance. We have to find a way out of polarization, vilification, and tension through common sense. In fact, it is quite easy to get out of this seemingly chaotic and complicated situation. The only thing we need to do is to come together, to stand together for democracy. We, the women, have the power, faith, and courage to do so by taking the lead. Let us first come together and join our forces as women. Let us build an all-women pro-democracy alliance against injustice, all forms of violence, and poverty. Let us clear the path for a society that gasps for air. For how long do we have to wait for this? What else do we expect to happen till then? What will unite us is not a leader, party, or a savior, but it is our own hands. Come, let us lend each other a hand, and let us save the future of our children. Otherwise, how will we manage to keep our word to Hrant? How will we be able to gather each year without feeling embarrassed? Here is Sav Gülten Akın called out to hope. Put away black, replace it with blue. I have not lost my hope. Call me out at any moment of my sleep while I'm smiling. Lend your hand, but only when it is white. Put away black, replace it with blue. I have not lost my hope. As autumn arrives alongside dark romance, I hold this restless baby bird in my hand. You have the arms to hold on to rest against. Stay a little while, a little longer. Put away black, replace it with blue. Don't you take my hope away. Dear friends, right over there in Urfa, Göbekli Tepe, there stands a village dating back to 12,000 years. This is the oldest village of the world, the earliest neighborhood, the primal home. Who lived there? We don't know. How did they live? We don't know. We don't know about their sufferings, joy, fears, or dreams. We do not know. If they had lived today, would they call themselves Turk, Armenian, or Kurd? We don't know. Which religion would they believe in? Which political party would they vote for? We do not know. There is only one thing we do know for sure about their identity. They were human beings. They were the ones who first dug in the ground. They were the ones who first sowed the seeds in Mesopotamia. And then we started coming. In dozens, hundreds, thousands, we then amounted to millions. Most recently, we totaled 84 million. And since then, we continue to fight about who owns this land the most. We have been fighting for over a century, over 1,000 years, for 5,000 years. Perhaps I put it as if we were the ones fighting, but in fact, it's the others waging this strife. We are only being beaten up. For this is a fight for possession, domination, and supremacy, a fight for sultanate, seat, ostentation, and power. All we do is to resist against it in order to stay alive, to stay human. We resist for equality, justice, peace, fraternity, and the virtue of labor. And here is what we say. There is nothing in this land that we cannot share among us. This country belongs to all of us. These lands belongs to us all. And it is possible to live in a righteous, fair, and equal way, and it is soon to happen. Our 4-billion-year-old planet is aged and tired. But how did we manage to end up like this in this past 12,000 years? How did we manage to get so dehumanized? I invite everyone to take a moment and reflect on this. How did we manage to forget all about our shared values, pain, and joy? How did we manage to leave these bodies lying on the ground? How did we manage to cause this collective shame? Come along, my sisters and brothers. Let us join hands. Let us lift up our fallen bodies from the ground. Let us put an end to shared grief. Let us see that the ones lying on the ground has one single identity, human being. Their names may be Hrant, Tahir, Berkin, Ali Ismail, Eren, Ceylan, Yasin, Medeni, Etem, Uğur, Taybet, Aybüke, Ekrem. Yet they're all human beings. You shall not fear, my sisters and brothers. Hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder, let us bear our funeral. No one can shoulder all this burden alone, because this is such a heavy toll, heavy legacy. Let us invite each other to treasure the reminiscence of our lost ones without surrendering to the darkness of our assassins. We can make this happen. We have to make this happen. We shall pierce through this evil that cling to our bodies, and we shall forge a sunny, bright future. And our hope is bigger than persecution, because you are here, because we are here, because we are millions of people who have sworn the oath of allegiance to freedom, because we are human beings. Let us be courageous and keep our faith. Together we shall win, and we will certainly win. Finally, I would like to end by citing a poem Selahattin wrote from his prison cell. The ground is shaking beneath our feet. The skies are shattering. The earth is expectant of freedom. It will labor and give us a new birth. My hands in my pockets, my footsteps ungrateful. I keep walking in the depths of graveyards. We have given a word to our deceased. We have good tidings for our living. Let the children freezing in the cold are breastfed from the sun. Let the orphaned lovers reunite. We will not get a metal decoration on our chest. At most, we will get a greasy rope noose around our neck, perhaps a stray bullet in our back. We do not have a name, neither a passport. One will know us from where we fall. Wild flowers will spring out in our soil, or as a poppy in all its redness. We are the children of a land who defied persecution. Here we come. Monumentally, you see, time is almost up. The ground is shaking beneath our feet. The skies are shattering. The earth is expectant of freedom. It will labor and give us a new birth. I salute you all with my warmest regards and deep respect. I pay my tribute to the loving memory of Hrant, and I thank you all. You are in the breeze of Istanbul and in the waters of the Euphrates. You are in the clouds that crown Mount Ararat. You are in the tears shed by a baby girl in the Middle East, in the breath of the indigenous South American, and in the sweat of a farmer in Africa. You are there, wherever the mind can reason, the eye can see, the heart can feel. You are here, forever with us, Ahbarik.
Friends of Hrant, friends of Hrant Dink, It has been 14 years since his assassination, since his murder, and this year we commemorate him in front of our screens due to the conditions imposed by the pandemic. This time around, this year, we were not able to get together and rub shoulders, but all across the country and across borders, across oceans, in different parts of the world, in many different cities all across the globe, here we are in front of our screens commemorating Hrant Dink's legacy, and we continue to mourn his loss. The square in front of Agos, that's where we get together on the 19th of January every year, where we bring our pain and our rage, where we find ourselves every year, where he was shot down and killed. This place where we voice our demand for justice. And next year, on the 19th of January, hopefully we will get together again at 3 p.m. where Hrant Dink was killed, and we will commemorate his legacy once again. We will continue to ask for justice. We will continue to hold the perpetrators accountable.
Փրկչի ծնունդը, որ մենք անվանում ենք Սուրբ Ծնունդ, ուղեկցվում է հետաքրքիր իրադարձություններով, որոնցից մեկը արևելքից մոգերի իմաստուն մարդկանց այցելությունն է։ Այս պատմությունը արձանագրել է համատես ավետարանիչներից մեն Մաթեոսը։ Պատմությունը շատերի կողմից այսօր ընկալվում է որպես մի լեգենդ, բայց այն խտացումն է բազմաթիվ այլաբանությունների, որոնք առնչվում են փրկagorցության պատմությանը։ Ուրեմն երբ մոգերը հասնում են Բեթխեհեմ, տեսնում են մանկանը իր մոր Մարիամի